nerds, welcome to the February bookish reset. We have a lot to cover in this video, so we're just going to jump right into it. I'm going to give you a little agenda here. I hope that you all have had a great January, great start to the year. I have to say, I still have a few days left in the month as of the time I'm filming this, but this has been one of my best reading months I have had ever. So I'm very excited to chat about some of the books that I read this month. If you are new here, I do like to do my January wrap-ups in my reset videos. I don't like to do them separately. We're just gonna talk about all the books that I read in January, what I have on my TBR for February, revamp all my iPad widgets, my wallpapers. Definitely wanna do a cutesy pink Kindle revamp, so I'm very excited about that. What else do we have here? Oh, and then we'll go over some book journal updates. I am going to do a separate video that's going to do a flip through of my January book journal because I feel like I have read so much. I do need to do some book journaling to catch up on it, and we're going to do a few book review pages in the book journal. In other news, in January, I did do dry January. My fiance and I do this most years. And as I feel with every other year that I do this, I feel absolutely no different. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I am excited to have a nice beverage this Saturday night and end off the month. So if you want to grab some February wallpapers that I have made, I will leave the link down in the description. I do put out monthly wallpapers on my website, so that will be linked below, but I have a lot to do, so we're going to jump into it. We are going to do some book journal updates while I have my lunch. So this is our books read page updated for all the books I've read so far in January. So I did recently do a book review and spread for The Ever King. It's up on the channel. It was my last video if you want to go watch it. But I did do a full review and spread for this one. That was kind of sexual, sorry. But I want to at least update all of these book review pages. You can see for this one, I just was lazy and I didn't fill this part in. We need to complete this one. You know what? Let's make a half-star sticker, shall we? I'm just doing more half stars lately, I find, and I just want a sticker for that. So what I do for that, we're gonna just make it the size that it fits in one of these little squares. Then I'm gonna take the pen tool, and this is a color matched color that is the same. Take the lasso, we're gonna do that, and we're gonna go create element. And I'm gonna add to my book, see if it works. Yes, and a half. And then I don't have to redo it every time. So much of this and what I do in my book journal is just good notes workarounds and just figuring things out, because I just like to do things myself instead of I don't know, go search for more or buy stickers or whatever. This one really surprised me. I'll chat a little bit more about it when I do my wrap up here in a bit. But for now, I'm just gonna do this book review page. I don't know, you might do a journal spread. Let's see, I don't know. You can also see I'm doing a mix of handwriting them and typing them. I just kind of do whatever I feel like doing. Most of them are typed, but then this one I hand wrote. I really like a thick, messy looking pen. I don't like a thin pen. I've always liked, in school, I was a 0.7 pencil girly, you know? Never 0.5 or 0.05, 0.07, I don't know. I've decided not to do the spreads and like the reviews for my Witch Hat Atelier reads, I just feel like those are all quite similar and I just love them all. Like I think I'm on, yeah, I read volume 4 this month. They're all 4 and 5 stars and I just feel like it's a little repetitive. Just know that I love them. But I'm already losing steam. It's 2 o'clock, so I need to get going. But maybe we'll do my Kindle and then we might just sit and talk about my reads. Let's revamp my Kindle. Speaking of Kindle, we are reading the Everqueen. I went right into this and we're 25% of the way through. I would definitely like to finish this before the month's over, but I also, disclaimer, I have not gotten to my classic of the month, which is Wuthering Heights, because I wanted to do like a specific reading vlog for it, and I still am. It's just, I forgot that I had this reset video to do for this week. So then I was like, oh, okay, my Wuthering Heights vlog will be the next week. And so I'm kind of putting it off, which is typical me. I love to be able to put things off. I love putting things off. I want this to be caffeine, but I'm trying to be good. So my camera started overheating, but this is the final product. Okay, and I'm actually proud of myself. I have this updated. So we have our currently reading, and I haven't finished any of these. So actually we're good. I thought we were going to have to update this, but honestly, we are not. However, what we can do is make my little February TBR. Let's just do that. We're working on these. I know what my TBR is. We can delete this now. So for the February TBR, we'll make a little to-do list here. I don't know, should I pick another classic for February? Or should I just do Wuthering Heights? Because that's going to go kind of into February. If I do pick another one, I feel like I want it to be like a Jane Austen. I think Sense and Sensibility is available on Kindle Unlimited. Let's just check. So Sense and Sensibility is on Kindle Unlimited. We'll put them both. We'll do Emma or Sense and Sensibility. We'll see if we get to that. Another one I absolutely want to get to is Strawberry Patch Pancake House. The book is kind of pink. We're getting into, it's still winter, but I do really want to read that one. I just really do enjoy those Dream Harbor. It is going to be Valentine's Day after all. I want to be reading some romance, and I go through those really quickly. And I have that one down here physically on my shelf. So this would also be helping us towards our goal of reading more books on the shelf. So this one is a single dad trope, I think. What is my book for my Read Your Bookshelf challenge? I want to say it is the Hazelwood, which is a YA fantasy that I randomly picked up from a Goodwill. This is by Melissa Albert. Only has a 3.5 on Goodreads, but that's okay. You know, we just need to... I have a couple mutuals who have read it. Do authors write their own blurbs on Goodreads? Listen to this sentence. But when Alice's grandmother, the reclusive author of a cult classic book of pitch dark fairy tales, dies alone on her estate, the Hazelwood, Alice learns how bad her luck can really get. Her mother is stolen away by hyphen, by a figure who claims to come from the hinterland, comma, the cruel supernatural world where her grandmother's stories are set. That sentence was something. I do love YA fairy tale fantasy, so I'm willing to give it a shot. So that's my read your bookshelf challenge. We have a classic and then we have a romance. If I can also I also have put some holds on some other romances on my Libby, so we'll see what comes through. I really would like to get to another Emily Henry. This month, I posted a short and asked people for their recommendations for which Emily Henry I might like, because Book Lovers is my favorite and Beach Read has been my least favorite. And a lot of people recommended Funny Story. That was like, I think almost all of the comments but one said Funny Story. That's all I'm going to do for the TBR for now. The rest, I kind of want to just see what happens, see what comes up in my Libby. Those are all kind of fitting in my criteria for classic, something on my shelf, and my Read Your Bookshelf challenge. So that is the TBR for February as of now. I have been reading so much that I'm okay with not starting with the classic as I had intended to. It's okay. I can always pick up something short if I need to kind of read another one in February. I have like Of Mice and Men up there. I have some other shorter classics that I could pick. There are also a lot of classics available on Kindle Unlimited. If you guys were not aware, if you do subscribe to Kindle Unlimited, I do need to reference this and look at my Goodreads to chat about the books that I have read this month, because I've read so many. For me, this is a lot of books, and we'll see if I finish one in the next few days before this video goes out, and I will let you guys know if I finish one additionally. But for now, we're gonna do the wrap up, because this video is going up. Yeah, this video is going up on the 1st, so on the 31st I might update you, but for now I just wanted to chat about all the books that I've read in January. And we're starting with The Everlasting. I did an entire vlog reacting to this because this was one of the most beautifully written, heart-wrenching, expertly done time travel fantasies I have ever read in my life, and I've been thinking about it every single day since I read it. It just was impeccably done. The time travel, the time loops, the fated lovers, the villain arc, the lovers arc, just all of it was incredible. This also has been referenced as like genre defying, and to me it just really read like a fantasy. I'm guessing because maybe of like the time loop kind of time travel aspect, but to me that's very fantasy. Still, it still felt very, very fantasy to me. So I'm not really sure where that part comes in. So you're getting the POV from both of these main characters, but in second person, which is very, very unique and hard to pull off. And I feel like it was done so well. It never felt weird. It never felt confusing. It felt so intentional and purposeful for the story. I loved the structure of this. I love the POVs. And it's just the most heart-wrenching, heartbreaking, moving, gorgeous story ever. Alexi Harrow really, really, really showed out with this one. A huge surprise, a great surprise. 6 stars. Was obsessed with it. Loved it. Then we went into a huge disappointment, which I've chatted about on the channel, so I'm not going to get much into it. This is The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk, the second in the Shadowborn duet in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I found both of these to be so boring, so repetitive, really a letdown. Just such a dull fantasy in my opinion that I just really struggled to get through both of these. They both took me weeks to finish. I ended up giving this 2 stars. I just didn't enjoy the characters. I didn't enjoy the repetitive nature of the story. Nothing was happening. The same thing kept happening over and over when things were happening. And I just really, really didn't like it, unfortunately. Another very mediocre read from another author that I had really high hopes for. This was Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. I love Stephanie Garber's YA series that I have read, both Caraval and Once Upon a Broken Heart. I loved both of those. But this one, which is kind of, this to me is more of a genre bending. This was like a mystery, a fantasy, a magical realism, all kind of jumbled up in one, and it didn't really hit the mark. The main character was incredibly, incredibly dumb. And the story just didn't really grip me. It was interesting. I really like the setting. Like, it could have been interesting, but I just feel like the execution was not there at all. And it fell really flat at the end. It was very rushed at the end. I hate that in a book, and I feel like it's so common now where it's like, why are we blabbing on and doing the same thing for 80% of the book? And then the last 3 chapters, like, all this shit happens. I don't like that. This was the first in a series. I will not be continuing that. So that's an official DNF series that I'll add to my series tracker. Then we read Witch Hat Atelier Volume 4, the graphic novel. I have loved all of these. I've loved all of these. This one specifically, I did give a 5-star because I really liked the character that we followed in this one and the story. All the little witch girls are in a trial right now where one of the witches is kind of like, she's at the point where she's ready to take her like test to become a real, you know, witch. And all the other girls that are in her atelier with her aren't quite there yet, but they are kind of they're all learning from each other. They're being faced with, you know, kind of dark force that's going to keep coming up, I have a feeling, and I just really like this one. So it was very cute. Ooh, then, you guys, this one was such a surprise too. This was Heartless by Marissa Meyer, which is essentially a Alice in Wonderland Queen of Hearts prequel. It's basically the origin story of the Queen of Hearts. If you didn't know, I'm obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. I love, love, love that story. The whimsical fairy tale magical nature of all of those characters is just one of my favorites. So I really, really, really liked this. Very much reminded me of Once Upon a Broken Heart. Very fairy tale, very like the main character, the future Queen of Hearts, wants to open a bakery. She loves sweets. She loves to bake. She wants to open a bakery with her best friend. She's basically forced into a marriage with the King of Hearts, and she is actually in love with Jest, the Joker. Really heartbreaking story, just about like young love, the expectations that can come with being in a position of power. Like, she is a Marquess, or a daughter of a Marquess, I think. So she's like in a royal family and has these very rigid, unrelenting expectations of what she should do. And marrying the king is like the biggest accomplishment that you can make. And it's really just about how, as a woman, like how depressing it is that especially in that time, like it's, you know, Regency era, like royal, you know, monarchy type society where as a, you know, 17-year-old girl, the best thing you can do, your biggest accomplishment, is what man wants to marry you and get your dowry and, you know, take you from your parents, and then you go and be a wife. And if you do that, you've succeeded, right? And I just feel like it's such a, you know, it's a story that's been told many times. I really do enjoy that. And unfortunately, you know, this one doesn't necessarily have a happy ending, because you do know that she becomes the Queen of Hearts at the end and that she goes mad. But it's her story of what drove her to madness, and it was that she couldn't. God, it makes me want to cry just thinking about it. Not all stories end up, you know, as a hero-heroine story where she defies all the rules of her society and she breaks free from the chains and she she disobeys her parents and she chooses herself. It doesn't always work that way. It was just heartbreaking. I listened to this on audiobook. I just thought it was entertaining and heartbreaking all at the same time. Hi, Hansi. Another audiobook next was Brigands and Red Knives. This is the sequel to Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I listened to the audios for Legends and Lattes and the prequel, Bookshops and Bone Dust. Yes, okay, I remembered. This one, Brigands and Red Knives, follows the story of the character you meet in the Bookshops and Bone Dust, which is Fern, who's a little rat, and she owns a bookshop. And Liv, the main character, the main orc, found her like on her travels, right? She found herself into this bookshop, and these two formed a friendship. And then in this book, Liv, the owner of Legends and Lattes, invites Fern, and she says, come. I can't remember the name. Merc, I want to say, is her town that she has started Legends and Lattes in. It's like, there's a storefront, you know, on my street. Try something different. Come open a shop here. Come be with your friends. Like, new adventure for you. And so she does. And Fern figures out when she's doing that, she's like, do I really want to be a bookshop owner? Do I want this? She has a lot of anxiety about doing that, about trying something new, about being out of her comfort zone. She has a identity crisis, I guess you could say, about what she's doing and if she belongs there. And so she gets drunk one night and passes out like in the back of a, you know, carriage or whatever, a cart, and wakes up somewhere else. And the whole story is her, you know, she has no phone, wallet, keys, but you know, it's fantasy, so she has no money and no anything to be able to do anything. No means of getting back. And she just has to find her way. She goes on this adventure to kind of find herself and find her way back. And while I love this because I just love everything that Travis Baldree does, honestly, at this point, it was a little heavy on like the adventure, you know, fights and random characters that I feel like weren't 100% fleshed out, and I just wanted more. It wasn't necessarily the story that I would have liked and I would have chose for Fern. I wanted them to be together more. I didn't enjoy that it was like her off with a bunch of other characters that I didn't know, and they just didn't hit as hard. So it just wasn't as cozy, heartwarming for me. It was more just like, okay, she's off on an adventure. She's like, why did she do this? She's kind of making some dumb decisions, you know. So I gave that 4 stars. I also don't think I mentioned I gave Heartless 4 stars as well. We've been ending the month on such a like high note. You guys, these are all 4 and 4.5 reads. Then we read The Ever King, which I just did a vlog. That was my last video. If you want to watch that, I will link it. The Everseas was not written or edited very well. I said that in my video. I wouldn't say it's like a great book. However, I loved the pirate setting. I love that kind of story. It's just a very like, it is a basic romantasy plot, right? Like it is. It's not anything groundbreaking. It's not anything like super original, but I love a pirate. I love the main character, and I enjoy like a, I kidnap you, you're my enemy, and then now I'm falling in love with you, and I'm hot. Oh my god, what are we to do? You know, I just love that. Just loved Eric the Ever King. Is one of my favorite new book boyfriends. A lot of sexy scenes going on, not necessarily specifically like spicy scenes. There wasn't a ton of spice, but it was just enough for me, and I thought it was done well. But like just little things that I'm like, god, that's hot. I want to just gnaw on the bars of my cage. She's wearing his like pirate shirt, and it's like a sheer white blouse. You know, he's making her a necklace from the bones of the men who tried to assassinate her. Loved it. Like I mentioned, reading The Ever Queen right now. Loving it. I really am enjoying this series. So that's great. I'm super happy that I have found a romantasy that I've really liked, with so many of them being so disappointing. Again, I won't say this is like so much better than others necessarily, but it worked for me personally, and that's really what it's about, right? Okay, and then lastly, we have Wild Dark Shore. This was another big surprise for me. I've just been seeing it everywhere. Some people are saying it's super overhyped. Other people saying it's like one of the best books they've ever read. I don't think it's one of the best books I've ever read necessarily. These kind of just literary fiction books rarely like really make me say this is one of the best books I've ever read. I'm so emotionally invested in this. There's something about it that I'm just like, okay, that was a story about regular ass people. Okay, yeah, it did emotion, you know, but they're never like a favorite of mine. They never make me like, just like I said, go feral for them, right? But I will say I really liked this because I loved, again, the setting. If you haven't picked up on that, the setting for me in an author being able to really make me feel like I'm there, really give me a sense of what the vibe is. I function on vibes so much of the time, and that's the same thing with reading. Like the pirate vibes in The Ever King were enough to carry the book for me. In this one, Wild Dark Shore, the ominous, cold, stormy island setting of a family being the only inhabitants of an island that houses like the rest, like houses all of the world's seeds, and this family is there to like protect them, and eventually, and they have to move them all because of climate change and the shifting sea levels. That setting and premise is so interesting to me. I loved the way this author blended the genres here. Again, this one to me was a genre bend. The Everlasting was a fantasy. I don't know why that people are saying that's genre bending. This one was pretty genre bending because it wasn't a straight thriller or mystery. but it absolutely had a mystery in it. But it read very lit fic, I guess, or just fiction, I think, and almost even like a nature fiction because of the setting and it being so integral to the plot. And one of the characters, the youngest son of this dad who lives on this island, was like obsessed with animals and plants. He's like so adorable, and he was giving all these like facts about animals and the penguins that live on this island and the seals and plant species. A lot of that kind of scientist botanist talk, but not so much that it was like not able to understand it. Like I listened to this on audio and I was able to follow it all. It wasn't too crazy, but it read a little bit like a nature fiction too. To me, this is what Where the Crawdads Sing would have been and tried to be if Where the Crawdads Sing was actually a good book, which it is not. This, I feel like, encapsulated that feeling of like you care so much about a specific place. You love it so much. You care about the animals. You care about the ecosystem. You feel at home with it. You feel one with it. It's important. And that is almost like its own character in the book. I feel like Delia Owens wanted to try and convey that with Where the Crawdads Sing, and it just didn't work. And in this, I feel like it succeeded so well. A lot of people didn't like the ending. I thought it was very poetic. I thought it was very fitting for the story. I really did like it. I have this as a 4.5 right now. It's definitely at least a 4. I'm interested in more of this author's works now. So you guys will have to let me know if you read that one. I know it was very popular, and I did actually purchase this through my Everend credit for the month. So I'm very glad that I enjoyed it, because that makes me feel better when I use like a subscription credit on something and then it ends up being really good. I'm happy with that. So that is my wrap up for January. I have some supplies here. We're going to give my iPad a nice little revamp, and that's going to include changing the screen protector, switching out my case, and as usual, updating my wallpapers and all my widgets. I already have this paper cut out to my iPad case size because I have used this before, but this is a cute little pink celestial. I need a new one of this. This is not getting very clean. Yeah, we're gonna bring out the big guns, which is some rubbing alcohol. This is really what you want to use for cleaning these cases and stuff. This is really more for a screen. I am really struggling with this one, you guys. I just got really triggered by this photo that I initially picked. I didn't really think about it because I like those flowers in person, but my trypophobia with these actually is ridiculous. And I really want to use this Sleeping Beauty widget up here, but this one's kind of has a blue and a purple, so I need one that's like the tone is kind of gonna work with that, because I like that. I think that's more the style that I'm going for. So we're going to, or we could do kind of this collage that I got from the Every Girl. I kind of like this collage too. So we might go with this actually for the, like the lock screen, I guess. And then this is the home screen. And then we have my Sleeping Beauty widget that I really wanted there. I'm gonna add 2 more things here, I think, because I'm using some more games recently. So I want to put those on my home screen. And then I think what I will do is add, my fiance and I have been doing the New York Times Wordle every night before bed on my iPad. And then I'm also really liking, I think we'll put Genshin because I'm kind of on a Genshin kick at the moment as well. But I have been liking Dreamy Room recently and Good Pizza. I haven't tried the coffee one yet. Yeah, these are kind of more ones that I'm tending to like use more on the daily recently. So I am going to put those here on my homepage and kind of fill in that a little more. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you're new. Leave it a comment and a like if you enjoyed it. If you enjoy your time here, thank you so much. We're kind of in like the home stretch of getting to like 3,000 subscribers here soon. So any love you can give this video, I would really appreciate it. Stay tuned for more. We're gonna do some Wuthering Heights reading. We're gonna be doing some Kindle Unlimited Prime reading list. We're gonna be doing some romance stuff coming up for Valentine's Day. So lots of fun stuff happening on the channel. As always, lots of iPad book journaling. Happy reading, and I will see you in the next one.